Patrick Goodman in 2000, the year 2000, December time, beat his girlfriend's 3-year-old son to death.
What?
They said he had like over 50 bruises on his body.
Oh my gosh.
And he tried to frame the mother for this crime. Well, that man got out on parole. Just recently.
How long was he behind bars?
So he did it in the year
was?
2000 is when it happened.
And he just got let out, so 24 years. So essentially, effectively, he served pretty much a life sentence.
He previously served a 2-year sentence for injuring a man in a hit and run, was convicted of murder and child abuse in 2002, was sentenced at San Francisco Superior Court to a term of 25 years to life in prison, and just got let out on parole.
Man.
He allegedly became, or he did, not allegedly, he was convicted. He got mad that the little boy let the family dog in the house, and he grabbed him and slammed him up against the wall a bunch of times. And the autopsy showed that like this little boy had broken ribs, a broken neck, severed bowels, severed renal artery. Like this isn't like I got mad and I threw my kid up against the wall, you know, like, which is obviously not okay at all. But this is like a brutal beating.
Yeah. You're just trying to compare the difference between like a very rash decision where you did something out of pure anger and a loss of control, but then like reacclimated yourself and realized like,
this is a child. This is a 3-year-old. I need to get myself in check. Like,
versus
not okay.
A long-term losing of your temper and not being able to realize, whoa, I've gone too far.
Well, he also tried to set up the mother for it.
Yeah, no, there's some long thought out implications here, and I agree with you. I would be curious to know his full charges of how he got that 25-year term. Did they charge him with a crime for attempting to set up the mother? I would hope so. I know based off
it just says murder and child abuse is all it says.
Okay. I can tell by the 3 things that I see here, which are all involving violent offenses, essentially, right? Hit and run. I mean, okay, that could go either way depending on how it happened. The child abuse, absolutely a violent crime. And then to have it happen again to a child, though, you know, there's a lot of states out there that have a 3-strike violent crime rule. And interesting enough, you guys, you might be shocked by this, but I actually support that 3-strike rule. I don't support any 3-strike rules.
I don't either.
Except for that one. I support the violent crime 3-strike rule, but there needs to be very specific stipulations to that. Like it can't be an accidental violent crime. It has to prove intent in all 3 of them. Like California used to be at one time. And if you can prove intent for violent crimes in those 3, I mean, should we trust you to be in our free citizenship still? You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know.
He murdered a baby.
I hear you. I get it. I get it. I'm not thinking specifically about that crime because that's in the past, right? And the jury and the courts came to this conclusion. I'm worried about the future and what he could do to other people. The fact that he has 3 repetitive times of being a violent man, and the 3rd time, after not learning the first 2, tried to even set somebody else up and take it even further. And it was the worst out of all 3 of them. Shows that an inability of learning. I'm nervous for anybody that's around this man. I don't know if he should be out. That's why I'm saying, like, in certain situations, that 3-strike ruling is very helpful.
Yeah, and I mean, even if you don't have a 3-strike rule, judges normally take somebody's previous charges, history, criminal history, their rap sheet into consideration. Like, of should I be more lenient because this is their first time, or should I be more harsh because they clearly are not learning anything?
Mm.
But so they made a determination to approve him for parole. He made a statement in that I'm going to read, but basically what's going on right now is that the parole board has to review their decision. They have to check to make sure there's no like legal or factual errors, and as long as that goes smoothly, he wasn't released. They approved his parole, but he's still in prison until they finish that process. Unless the governor steps in and reverses their decision, which is the only way it can be reversed, which a bunch of people are angry and want him to do, he will be let out. Everybody's asking the governor, and the governor has done it. Like, I think he did it 7 times last year and 21 times the year before that.
Sometimes.
Yeah, he could do it.
This might be one of those situations where, like, dude, you're willing to let somebody like this out, but California's prisons, unfortunately, are still filled with a lot of drug charges.
Minor drug offenses, yes.
Still to this day, because they haven't worked through all those cases and everything.
So what Goodman told the parole board was, I hope that one day I will be able to show Elijah's family, society, and everyone who got caught in the ripple effect of my actions that I'm no longer the monster that I used to be. He said when talking about why he accused the mother of doing this, he was just trying to get the attention off of him. And then
that just shows a lack of concern for human life.
Then Michelle Miner, one of the commissioners, said, we find that Mr. Goodman does not currently pose an unreasonable risk to the public safety and is therefore suitable for parole, after 15 minutes of deliberating following the hearing.
Hey, just remember, whoever that was, like
Michelle Miner,
and
Dane Blake
is on your back. If something happens, it is on you.
Yeah, it's on your conscience. There is a transcript apparently of the parole hearing.
I mean, that's when people are on their best behavior. It won't even matter.
Yeah, but I'm curious what's in it. I'm not going to read it, obviously. This is just a breaking news update. But if you live in the state of California or not, write the governor. Ask him to overturn it if you feel strongly that, he shouldn't be let out. I don't know if a child murderer and repeat offender should be let out of prison like this.
Either. And it's not even just that. It's the fact that he had 2 priors that he actually did time with and didn't learn, all right?
It was 1 prior. It was a hit and run.
It was a hit and run, and then you said abuse, child abuse.
That is this.
Okay. So this is number 2, not number 3. Okay.
That I know of. Who knows what else he has in his past? That's all it mentioned.
Got it. Okay. Well, even so, okay. So if he did time at all, period, behind bars, then you should be able to learn and understand and figure these things out. But then, something like this happens where it's not even like a quick mistake, like what would be considered under the penal code for like manslaughter, like an accidental death. You know what I mean? It's a continued prolonged beating. And then after you come to your senses and realize like what you did, then you try and set up the mother after you've just taken her child from her. I don't know. I just have a hard time. I hope there was a lot more deliberating, because look, when we spout these facts, we try really hard to stay objective, right? And this sounds horrible. Sounds like this is one of the most severe and serious situations that there can be. And you took only 15 minutes trying to figure it. Like, it sounds really bad. I get it.
It does.
But there's always more to a story. I really hope that these people that were on the board had a good long conversation about this, maybe beforehand, because they knew what was coming up and they didn't want to have the conversation in front of the prisoner. I don't know.
I mean,
I
their
don't know.
deliberating is not in front of them.
I just hope that that there was a very thorough, solid amount of thinking, planning, and consideration when looking into this. That's all I can hope for.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think this is right, but I want to know, most importantly, what you think about it. So please leave it in the comments.